I'm what some people refer to as a cradle Catholic. I was raised in a Catholic household, I went to a Catholic school, I helped my mother out with CWL fundraisers, but I never felt connected to my faith. I never developed that relationship with Jesus. I didn't read the Bible, and everything that I knew about religion was taught to me in school. I memorized prayers, saint names, feast days, but I never developed a relationship with Christ. I never felt a desire to develop a relationship with Christ. And funnily enough, it was never actually encouraged or talked about as something as a Catholic that I could or should do. As kids and teens, living your faith wasn't something that we did, something the Pentecostal kids did, not the Catholic ones. It was no surprise that I stopped practicing my religion entirely as soon as I went to university. After all, I was an adult now. I got to make my own decisions. I was far too busy learning, partying, and making new friends than to go to church. Within a few years, the way I was living my life was very draining. I entered bad relationship after bad relationship. I couldn't find a job with my degree, and I couldn't pay off my student loans. I was sinking into a mild depression. After a particularly bad breakup when I was 24, I decided to move to Nova Scotia to pursue a public relations degree, a field I was always interested in, and essentially start my life over. My second year here, I met the man I was going to marry. He was also a lapsed Catholic, and we shared very similar values and dreams for the future. The day we got engaged, I felt an extremely strong pull to come back to church. I felt a great desire to be married in the church, which at the time I chalked up to tradition. But little did I know that God had so many more plans in store for me. So one Sunday, we decided to attend the church up the street. After all, I reasoned, we wanted to get married in the church, we had to go to church. So we went in, we sat in the pew furthest from the back that we could, and it was boring. It was long. I thought, is this Mass ever going to end? And it did, and I survived. So we went back the following week and the following week. And slowly but surely, I really started to listen to what was being said. I started to enjoy the music, I started to enjoy the atmosphere, and I started to enjoy the people that were around me. When we had our first meeting with our parish priest, who just happened to be Father James Mallon, he commented that he recognized us from Mass, and it was good that we attended church. So I was like, yes, score! Big check mark mentally. I knew we had to go to church. He then asked us about our faith. So I crossed my arms and told him exactly what I thought. That the Bible was nice stories, but they was a little outdated. That church teaching was very outdated, not relevant to my life, etc., etc., etc. He just smiled and invited me to be open on this year of marriage preparation, to read the Bible with an open heart and an open mind, and my heart just might change. I was very skeptical, but I agreed. I'm like, okay, I can try. So the first step in the marriage preparation program at St. Benedict Parish is Alpha. We followed along week by week. Every week I got a little bit more comfortable with my faith. I started asking questions. The questions I had in my heart were getting answered. I finally felt a stirring to develop a relationship with Jesus, which I'd heard about before, but it all seemed very surreal. I was feeling very overwhelmed at that period in my life. I had finished my second degree, but I couldn't find a job. I thought, when was my life going to start? I needed my career to start so that when we got married, we could buy our house and start our family. And for some reason, I felt like that was always just beyond my grasp. The most profound moment of change happened after my Alpha weekend away. During the retreat, there were several times that we were invited to come up and be prayed over. And although in my heart I really wanted that, for some reason I didn't go and I held myself back. The very following Alpha night, they invited people to come up and be prayed over. So I immediately rushed up and took my chance. The moment the prayer leaders laid their hands on my shoulders, I felt the warm glow fill me from the tips of my toes to the ends of my hair and come rest in my heart. Immediately, I felt the glow of the Holy Spirit resting within me. Tears sprang from my eyes, snot ran from my nose. It was the most beautiful and profound feeling of love that I'd ever felt before. It's really indescribable, except to know that I knew the Holy Spirit was there and the Holy Spirit was with me. When we went home that evening, I was reflecting on my experience that night, and I was thinking about how difficult it had been to find a job. And at once I heard in my head a voice distinctly say, "It's going to be all right." And I believed it. And of course it was right. I started volunteering at my parish in the youth ministry. I bought and started reading my very first Bible. And I really started getting involved in parish life. Within 6 months, I had started my job at Chalice, and every day I get to live my faith life through my job, which is awesome. I now know that the Holy Spirit has always been with me, from the moment of my baptism, through all of my trials, and finally, through the moment of my conversion. It was there, I just didn't listen to it. It was always that little voice telling me, "Go to church, come back to church, we miss you." But I always brushed it off, until the moment of my engagement when the voice screamed so loud I couldn't ignore it anymore. The Holy Spirit is with all of us. It's there to comfort us, it's there to guide us, to make us feel secure, and to come to us in our time of need. Just let the voice in and see what happens.